What does a superhero put in his drink?
Oh no, what?
Just ice. Justice.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week what we love more than just superheroes is when Infinity War is a week closer than it was last week, Mike.
Oh my gosh, I can feel it. I can feel the heat.
And I think technically that's like 2 weeks closer because my math is horrible.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, Silver Surfer is proving it's business as usual for Fox right now.
Oh, Fox, what are you doing?
But it's not so bad as DC because they're Cheetah-ing its way to the big screen.
Oh my gosh, all right, Chris.
Okay, you got the laugh off air, and then I can't get a real one here, so it's okay. We'll take it. So, Mike, we're here. We got another week. I think this is like, what, your third week in a row we've had you back finally, so might be back in the swing of things.
Yeah, I'm back in the swing of things. Had a late night last night, so recovering. Might sound a little bit gravelly, but maybe by the end of the show, I'll be all nice and warmed up. But I wanted to give a shout out to a YouTuber by the username of Roz, who gave us a nice shout out and recommendation out there in the comments and on his own social media pages. Really appreciate that. So always love finding new listeners. And Roz, by definition, is a super fan now because he shared the show with a friend and he shared the show with a buddy. That's right. Welcome new super fan Roz.
The beauty of this is when Roz commented on it, and I usually reply back because I'm up a little earlier than Mike on my time zone. I think we went to reply to this at the same exact time, to the same exact comment for once. So yeah, that was really funny. So
yeah, got to be logging into the YouTube accounts at the same time. Google, I don't know. I don't think you should let that happen, but apparently they let us jump right in there. But Chris, you had a busy nerdy weekend.
I did. So I have a shout out for one of our listeners, super fan. Alan, I ran into him at the Arcade Expo this weekend. The Louisville Arcade Expo. And he was sharing the show with people at the table he was sitting at eating dinner. So I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Heck yeah.
So the Louisville Arcade Expo is an arcade expo where they bring in a bunch of arcade games and pinball machines and old video game consoles. Nothing made after 1999 is allowed in.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's very, very retro based. All the games are set to free play, so you don't have to pay any money once you pay to get in. And you go and you kind of wait in line to play all these games because there's so many games and so many people there. It's a really good time if you're into arcade games.
So does it feel kind of like a classic car show, but instead of people bringing in their beloved classic cars, they bring in their beloved like pinball machines and stuff? Yeah,
pinball machines. Arcade games are usually the bigger ones. Because those are a little more retro dated, and like they have some really, really classic ones in there, and people will bring them in there. Some people sell them there, like at a car show. So you can buy some stuff there, and then they show off some new ones. Guardians of the Galaxy has a pinball machine that's kind of newer, or I think it's pinball, and they had like 3 of those there that everyone was lined up for across the whole floor.
Okay, so do the pinball machines not require the date?
Yeah,
unless it's like an older comic book version.
Yeah, because I think pinball machines by nature have not changed too much over the years.
They're just automatically vintage.
yeah, like you love the pinball, like the pinball mechanics can't really change too much. I think they add like a little screen that plays higher resolution videos whenever you hit something, but that's about it.
Yeah, all right, gotcha.
But they also have a pinball tournament where they have cameras over the machines to watch people play so they can't cheat and get the scores. The destination, the comic book store I work with, they had a table and we sold some merch there. But also another group I work with, Pixel Brain Productions, they hold the N64 Smash Brothers tournament every year there. So
that's right.
I think they said this is the 5th or 6th year they've done it. And this year we got moved up to the big stage, so we had 3 screens going at once.
Ooh, dang.
And they used the original 64s with the original controllers, and it was just a blast. And we had like 2 hours to get all these people in, and everybody has a good time. It's so good to see that energy for 64 Smash Brothers after all this time.
Who was the winning character? Who did the winner fight with at the very end? Do you remember?
I don't know because it came down to a 3-way battle in the end, and they all had one life, and the lava came up and blasted 2 of them off at the same time.
Gosh, that's hilarious.
So it was like down to the wire. It was just fantastic energy. Like I was filming it, so I got to go back and look at that. So it was really good. Pikachu is a huge player this year. Almost every other person had a Pikachu they were playing with this year. So
people love that little yellow mouse, man.
They do. So they did. So that was going on, and I had a really good time. And I actually had a lot of questions involving our first topic here in a second about Infinity War, and we're going to talk about that. But I kind of wanted to share something I kind of came up with this week, Mike, and
okay.
You seem to be behind this idea, so thank you. We're in March. We have the March Madness for March, right? So everyone's in bracket season. Everything's making a bracket. Mm-hmm. So I decided to take the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the 18 movies we currently have right now, and make a bracket that I hope our fans and listeners will share with and vote on over this month to essentially pick their best Marvel movie up to Infinity War, because it's not in there. So I am really excited to share this idea with people, Mike, and hopefully people can vote by going to superheroslate.com/vote when we launch this. But we need help, because I don't know if you know how brackets work. We can only have it works better in divisions of 4, and we have 18, so we have to work on divvying this, getting rid of 2 movies. So the first poll we're going to have this week, we're going to put it up on our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, is choosing between Thor: The Dark World and I believe it was The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and cast my vote on this, Mike. I'm going with The Incredible Hulk. So we're going to tally these votes on Thursday. And then on Thursday, our second poll will start to choose between Iron Man 2 and Age of Ultron. Kind of a Sophie's choice here as well, Mike. It's the bottom of the barrels. These are all done kind of NCAA style. So I would probably, I know Mike wouldn't, but I would lean toward Age of Ultron more than Iron Man 2.
You're saying those are lower seeds, I think is what you're going
They're
for.
very lower seeds. These are called the play-in rounds. I have to give credit to our fan, Brian, who works on Comic UI, for teaching me all these extra rules on how to get these in there. So we're going to get rid of 2. So our lower play-in rounds are first, again, Thor: The Dark World versus Hulk, and Iron Man 2 versus Avengers 2 Age of Ultron.
I don't think Thor: The Dark World is going to make the cut, but we'll find out. We'll see.
Very much so. So you'll see these on our social channels. I'll be sharing them. We'll share them to our main channel. And then next Sunday, you can go to superheroslate.com/vote right after you listen to the show or re-record it, and start voting on the first round, the first 16, 8 battles between the 16 movies. I'm really excited for this playoff, Mike. So I don't know. I like this more than sports, and then that's what I'm getting into here. So we gotta get
that's how you can get these nerds into March. You just got to make the right brackets, man.
That's right. We got to do it. So any other news, Mike? I mean, other than that, we got to talk about probably the biggest drop on us this week that we did not expect.
Let's do it, because there's a lot to talk about in this one news item.
That's right. So Avengers: Infinity War, the worldwide release has been moved up to evenly match April 27th. So in America, we can now go April 27th, or I guess 26th on Thursday, if you're really, really excited like us, and watch Avengers: Infinity War rather than wait till May 4th.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot to unpack out of this, because the first thing you want to think is, why is this happening? First of all, I think it's great that we're getting the movie a week early, and I think it's great that it's going to be a worldwide simultaneous release. That's great. How many times on this show have we been so worried about spoilers when we say, Civil War just came out in the UK, be careful because they get a week before us, stay off the internet, and we have to go down in our little spoiler bunker and just disconnect the Wi-Fi and just rock in the corner for 7 days.
Yep.
So I'm glad we're getting a worldwide release. So then I start to think, well, why is this happening? I think the first thing I think of is, maybe it's to do with the content of the movie. It's to us, spoilers is a really big deal, and we know a lot is supposed to be happening in this specific movie of Infinity War. It's supposed to fracture, change the MCU, and I know they say the next Avengers movie isn't a part 2, but I think it pretty much is going to be a part 2 in some aspects, and even more will happen there. So I think this is maybe to help stem some spoilers. And they must be pretty significant spoilers. It could be as big as a character death, which it's kind of easy to snuff out. Maybe it's not going to be some of the bigger characters if you've kind of seen some set photos of the next Avengers movie already, you're like, well, that person can't be dead, you know? So
Mike's got a hit list with X's on who was seen in the second movie so far.
Yeah, so it could be a pretty hard death that they wanna hide. I like your idea though. It makes a little bit more sense that at the end of the movie we'll get the title reveal for the next Avengers movie, which could mean that the title itself holds a lot of direction of where the story is gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of secrecy to this movie, Mike. I mean, as much as we want to break down the trailers and look at set photos and think what we may know, nobody knows what's going on in this movie. And now that it's not, I can say this movie is now next month, Mike, instead of 2 months away. I think they've got to play a lot of stuff close to their chest, and having that fracture release date, like, okay, so the people in, you know, England and Ireland who always get it a week early, they're like, okay, well, Avengers 4 is going to be called, I don't know, an example, the Infinity Gauntlet. And then we would have to avoid news articles that would definitely have that title all over the place. Or, you know, maybe it's Avengers 4 Secret Invasion. It could be, we have no idea what's next. But I think that by releasing that at the end of the movie, because I think Guardians did that, right? At the end of the movies where they announced Guardians will return in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I just like the surprise. We don't get a lot of surprises anymore. So yeah, this is really cool that, you know, that could potentially be a big reason why they're moving it up and making it, again, the worldwide release rather than just America moved up or certain countries instead. Yeah.
And if you like to explore ideas outside of just, you know, protecting the fans from spoilers, there's other business dealings that this could be delving into. So moving the movie a week back puts it a week further away from Deadpool 2, which is going to be the next biggest earning movie of the summer. So I could see Marvel really wanting to make sure that they have as much time as possible to rake in the dough before Deadpool comes along. This also puts it technically a little bit closer to Black Panther, so maybe they like the idea of someone going to a theater and seeing Black Panther on the marquee and also Avengers up there on the marquee. Hey, guess what? There's your T'Challa back-to-back movie marathon, and oh, maybe you watched Civil War before you showed up too, which you probably did because it's on Netflix. So
and you should.
Yeah, so that could be it too. And Black Panther just made so much news, raking in all that money for the movie, and it was very much deserved. But also, Black Panther didn't have a whole lot to compete with, which worked out really well in his favor when it came to dollar bills. You know, there's no other big franchise trying to knock down Black Panther. I think Wrinkle in Time is coming out soon, but that looks kind of.
I think Pacific Rim might be one that could
that's not until but that's not like until the end of the month. So basically, Black Panther has just had this open field to just go around and dig for gold, just basically uninterrupted. So Infinity War is not going to have that luxury coming out in the middle of the summer. So I think they want to front load this box office as much as possible, which is what these big blockbuster movies do. So this news helps, knowing that you can go see it worldwide at the same time. They're going to have like a big reveal possibly at the end, and this is just all just swelling. They just want to inflate that opening weekend. And I think the funniest part about this whole situation is what I wanted to see when this movie moved was, what does Avengers have to compete with? You know, it really can compete against anything, but I'm thinking if they move this movie back a week, it must be a pretty empty weekend beforehand. So if you go look at the old release date, which was what was it, May 4th? Yep. Nothing else was coming out that week. Avengers is such a big, heavy hitter that once Marvel announced that date and said, hey, Infinity War is coming out this day, no other studio even touched it. I think there's like one limited release movie that was stuck in that weekend, but, you know, they probably weren't even thinking about the Venn diagram of the same audiences there. So, but moving it back a week puts Infinity War in line with 7 other movies that are coming out. Now, like 5 of them are limited release movies, but 2 of them are like wide release, you know, normal like Hollywood studio movies. And I could only think when they were picking their release date was just like, oh, let's pick April 27th because it's a week before Avengers. I'm sure we'll be safe there. Oh my God, they couldn't be so wrong. I think the biggest movie is a movie called I Feel Pretty coming out from Amy Schumer. I know Amy Schumer has a lot of mixed reception out there with people. Some people like her, some people hate her. But I saw the trailer for the movie in front of Black Panther, which is the only reason I know about this film. But it seems to have kind of like a Shallow Hal-esque plot to it. But Amy Schumer thinks she's pretty and some, I don't know, it's weird. So rest in peace, Amy Schumer. Your movie's about to get destroyed by probably one of the biggest box office earners of the year. I don't know if I don't know if I honestly don't know if Infinity War is going to top Black Panther, but I think it's definitely going to be like top 5 for sure opening weekend for Marvel.
There are two things to this. First off, I didn't see any, like Mike showed me the list of movies coming out. I didn't even hear those movies, so I don't think they stood a chance regardless. They're just getting their graves definitively dug for them. But also, you mentioned Deadpool. Deadpool's interesting because, yes, it will be a large movie, but it's very much rated R. And while, we know parents will take their kids to see Deadpool, if they're over a certain age, I think you're going to limit a lot of ticket sales. But Han Solo is definitely the week after that. And while we are very much in a state of undecidedness on Han Solo,
yeah,
Star Wars will bring in money. Whether it's the best money you'll ever see, probably not. But I definitely think we're going to see some Star Wars money come in at the end of March or May as well. So giving that extra week off, even Deadpool and Star Wars money, is smart. I mean, it's just smart. So they're not eating into Disney's not eating into their own profits at the end of the week.
Yeah, I think the question that I would have if I could kind of like be a fly on the wall at Disney, I would just want to know how far in advance this was planned. Because, they could have planned this way back at the beginning when they set the release date and just like, who cares if we put these trailers that have May 4th on them? We want this news day when it comes to moving our movie. I'm surprised it wasn't connected to a ticket release or like a ticket release trailer. We were talking about this last week off the microphone. I was guessing Thursday night or Friday for ticket releases to kind of coalesce with this news. And I think you're still on the Monday, Tuesday feet?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think that they want to, at least, if they put it out on a Thursday or Friday, they can't turn it around into the theaters that quick. And I think most of those ticket sales are always like on a Monday, Tuesday anyway. I've experienced. So, because I think usually it was after like when we were rewatching or watching Game of Thrones the day behind, we'd always buy movie tickets for the upcoming summer. So, yeah, it's. I'm still thinking tickets are going to go on sale pretty soon, and mostly because we were talking about this release here, and I forget what I was going to say entirely, but merchandise is hitting sources like this. This whole ramp up for Infinity War happened Friday and Saturday. Like all the merchandise, the toys, the collectibles, the pop vinyls were street dated for March 3rd. And this event, I think, when it come up Thursday or Friday was when they announced it. So I think maybe Thursday. So this is all a huge push at the same time. Now, would they have known this? I don't know. I think they might have had to work on a couple countries agreeing to getting their release there on the same day to make that worldwide announcement. But who knows? Again, we don't know the logistics and the planning. But it's Infinity War. We are here, man. We are here. It is around the corner. I mean, short of what we got Pacific Rim in theaters and Jessica Jones next week, we're kind of that's really kind of what we're waiting for to kick off the summer.
Heck yeah!
But that also, this release date this is where I got most of the questions today. How are we going to update my countdown to Infinity War, Mike? We've been watching a movie every week. How am I going to update this to make room for this new week? Will I double down or what? So I think I found the best solution, Mike. All right. Because Black Panther will not be on home release the week before Infinity War. We're just going to have to jump from Thor Ragnarok right into Infinity War because we won't be able to get a copy legally of Black Panther to watch the week before. So,
well, I think that and the ending of Ragnarok, I think, will dovetail into Infinity War well.
Yeah, and I think Black Panther doesn't really affect Infinity War as a whole. You don't need to watch it right up to the point. I mean, it's great that you have watched it, yes, but again, it doesn't tie directly into Thanos or any of his army.
Yeah,
so.
I would think when people end up editing and revising their Marvel watch timeline, what's the best order to watch the movies, and I think people will recommend Black Panther right after Civil War watching anyway.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be great, or at least before Thor Ragnarok. I think so as well. Lastly, there's again with the ramp of all this, a new promo piece for Infinity War shows us the 6 Infinity Stones, Mike, and each of them, their color and their name. And I got to tell you, the most mysterious stone of all is the Soul Stone.
Oh yeah, I've had this image over for a couple minutes now. I'm just like, what does this have to do with Iron Man?
So if you look at each of these stones is associated with the characters that have first interacted with them in the Marvel Universe. Captain America had the Tesseract in his movie, Power for Guardians, the Aether for Thor, the Dark World, Doctor Strange had the Time Stone, and the Vision has the Mind Stone. But the most interesting character is Tony Stark. Iron Man has the Soul Stone on his little square here. What wild theories do you or any of our listeners have of how Tony Stark ties into the Soul Stone of all the stones?
Well, so 2 things come to mind. First of all, this seems to be some sort of I don't know if it's a leaked promo image. I don't know what the source of this image is, but we're saying it's legit, right?
Yes, this came from a company that has been licensing Marvel prints.
It's always licensing stuff. It's always just some factory that's just like making like collectible cups or like some sort of tchotchke, and they gave them this information, not expecting it to hit the internet, but we have it now. So I would think. So attributing the last unknown gem to Iron Man. I don't know how it works in with his character and his mythos, but it works just for popularity-wise. He's like the one character that you don't have connected to a gem yet. And, I mean, no knock on Robert Downey Jr., but I felt like I've seen Robert Downey Jr. age faster than any other character in the MCU right now. Like, every new time I see him on the screen, I was like, man, Tony, you're looking a little bit more ragged, looking a little bit more wrinkled. I mean, I'm sure he's going to age very elegantly, but I'm just thinking, I don't know if Tony's going to make it into Phase 4 unscathed, so maybe the Soul Stone is going to be some sort of sacrifice bid for him. Maybe he ends up saving the day, finally, making the sacrifice. I feel like Evans maybe could go a couple more movies. He's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty buff, so I know this doesn't explain the Soul Stone, but it does kind of put more onus on to Tony's character prescribing a gem to him.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm kind of breaking this down. Also, the Part 2 of the Avengers Infinity War Prelude comic came out this week, and kind of tying that information with this, it breaks down where all the gems are and how they got to where they were. The one gem they don't know in the comic book is the Soul Stone, but Wong is telling Strange that it is the most powerful of all the Infinity Stones as well. But it is not known where it is, but a picture that shows it's out like there's 3 unknown planets in space. Which, again, it could come from a meteor to Earth. It may not be on Earth. There's a lot of theories, and solutions. Again, we don't know anything about this movie. Like, that's the beauty of it.
I just hope the Soul Stone isn't some really bizarre, holistic thing of just like, Tony, the Soul Stone was in your heart the whole time. You just had to believe, and you could find it. They're stones. I need it to be a physical thing that you can just find.
It's got to go in the. It's got to go in the gauntlet. It's got to fit in there somehow.
Yeah. So I mean, I could imagine some sort of scenario. Like, I know, like, Tony took his chest piece out. His arc reactor got removed. But then I felt like, didn't we see something recently where he had it back in? So I don't know exactly how it gets back into his chest and what movie that's supposed to happen in. I don't know if it's a flashback or what. But I could imagine a really cool scenario where you shove an infinity gem into an arc reactor. That would be cool. I don't know what would happen there, but maybe that's how kind of an Iron Man suit gets integrated into this madness. But it is kind of nice having one gem out there that we don't know about. So I would assume and April 27th, we'll figure it out.
Exactly. Or, again, I think the Soul Stone is the whole point of the last movie. I think you got to have that MacGuffin for Avengers 4, and I'm hoping that's what it is. And we'll know more then. But if you guys, if our listeners, have any crazy conspiracy theories or ideas on the Soul Stone and Iron Man, you let us know, because I want to know. I gotta hear some ideas. Like, I gotta piece that together. this next bit of news, I read online, but your wife actually texted me specifically this bit of news, Mike. Because for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the movie I'm watching this week for the Countdown to Infinity, James Gunn has confirmed the original Groot is dead. His sacrifice in Guardians of the Galaxy was, in fact, killing the original Groot. And Baby Groot is his quote-unquote son in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, no, I mean, does it really matter? It seems like the characters in Guardians have never really mourned the loss of Groot because they've always like, oh, we can just grow him back. Now, this isn't exactly what happens in the comic books, right? He can just be regrown. It's the same Groot.
It's debatable. I mean, the original Groot... Like, there's a whole planet of Groots.
Yeah.
And there's, like, the original Groot was called King Groot, and he was, like, a creature from Planet X, and the comic books has it even more convoluted than what we've seen here. So, I mean, I just think, again, this is, like, smart because the sacrifice of the original Groot isn't lost from the original Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just get the exact one back. We have to get a new one and, like, train him and grow him back. But, like, it's not the same when he's not just come back, oh, yeah, I remember all the stuff I did before.
Yeah, it makes also the sacrifice harder to pull off the next time. Because, you know, when Groot, this new Groot ends up growing up into an adult again, we've obviously seen the time lapse. It takes a while for a Groot to be fully grown. So when you get this big, massive, hulking wooden tank walking around with you, you want to keep him around. You just can't throw him in front of like a cannon and just be like, oh, don't worry, he'll grow back in a couple years. Like, no, it'll be a new Groot, and it takes a while. But I thought it was funny because when my wife saw the news, she was like, did you know this? And I was just like, no, I didn't. And she was just like, oh, you got to tell Chris. And I was just like, Chris already knows all this stuff before I even think about it. So I was just like, you should text him. I'm just curious because I'm sure he probably already knows.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they've always alluded to beforehand, but I mean, it was very, very much distinguished, like, this is the answer over this week on Twitter. Which I like James Gunn. James Gunn's always on answering his fans and questions, and, like, he gives us confirmation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe more than probably any other director right now.
Yeah, so, and we need that.
Yeah, we need that. Captain Marvel is around the corner. It starts filming this month, and we've got some casting announcements here. The actress Gemma Chan from the show Humans, I don't know what it is, but has been added to the cast as Minn-Era, a.k.a. Doctor Minerva. They're really creative on their names in Marvel comic books. But she was a Kree villain who gained similar powers to Captain Marvel in the comic books. So I think we're going to see a woman v woman fight be the ultimate boss battle in Captain Marvel, rather than, you know, kind of like how, you know, if they have women, they always have like a man they have to fight and bring down, like Wonder Woman. So I would like to see a strong female villain and a strong female lead, you know, kind of
punch each other.
Yeah, cat fight. That's a cat fight, right?
No, punching each other like this. It goes beyond gender. I was thinking about this in the car the other day. I heard some movie critics on the radio talking about how, like, oh, people only want to go to the movies to see, like, big explosions. And it's just like, I pretty much glaze over every explosion I ever see in a movie just because they always look exactly the same. No one ever gets hurt by them. You never really see somebody vaporized by an explosion, or they just come out of it alive just with some soot on their face. Explosions hold no weight to me whatsoever. Your whole movie can be explosions from beginning to end and cost like $400 billion, and I'm not going to be entertained.
Unless it's Pacific Rim for Mike.
Yeah,
and then
the big dumb stupid like action stuff that I like in movies is people getting punched. I feel like a good solid punch on a movie screen is just way more satisfying. So Captain Marvel, I just want you punching everything in your path in your movie.
Well, so far that's what the concept art shows, so I think you're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
In another move, Marvel didn't only move Avengers Infinity War up, they gave us the release dates for 6 more Marvel movies. Like, we are now...
Yes, they did.
Marvel has the longest release date chain to date, but the sad part is we have no movies for these untitled films yet. So we were talking about, Marvel knows whenever they book a slot, nobody's going to get near them, right? Now it's unclear. They could move any of these. But Marvel has banked out the first Friday in May for the next, 4 years? So they have May 7th, 2021, May 6th, 2022, and I think that's it. I think they have also 2020. So.
And it looks like they're sticking to 3 movies a year for 2021 and 2022.
That's right. So we have May of 2021, July of 2021, and November of 2021, which mimics this summer actually. So it's the same as this year. And then they're moving again to match kind of our 2019 for February, May, and July movie, which they've got these, like, I don't know why they don't keep it the same, but it's interesting that they're kind of alternating years on the release dates except for May. Mm-hmm.
So this doesn't include Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Spider-Man 2, correct?
As far as I know, that is correct because right now I believe Spider-Man 2 will be 2019 and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be May of 2020. So that is not one of these dates.
Yeah, I'm curious if one of these dates is going to be Black Panther 2, because I would assume Black Panther 2 is being fast-tracked beyond no other with the critical and box office success that it saw. I'm sure that they've got, like, everything going in the high gear. I would actually be curious if maybe we could see another Black Panther in 2020, before these announced dates. If not, 2021 might be a good time for it. So, I'm just curious if any of these dates are X-Men or Fantastic Four. That's all I care about. Maybe we'll see a Doctor Strange 2. Maybe we'll see a conclusion to kind of the Ant-Man trilogy.
I'm thinking Women of Marvel movie.
Oh yeah,
like
one of them might be like the Black Widow, something like that.
Yeah. So, well, on that note, I mean, this is gonna break Mike's heart here, but the Mulan live action movie was moved from this year, November of 2018, to March of 2020.
Wow.
So you have to wait a little longer to be a man, or whatever that song is.
I feel like Mulan live action is the only Disney live action that I really want to see, just because they'd have badass like sword fights and like Chinese fireworks and talking dragon. I want to see a talking dragon. So,
well, I tell you, the thing I'm missing out here is probably some actual Szechuan sauce, because it came back out McDonald's in vast quantities. So whoever traded a car for one, 4 months ago, you're an idiot. Have you tried it yet, Mike?
I haven't had a chance to try it, but I felt like the way you didn't describe it very hotly, and also I'm in this weird scenario where McDonald's recently just did a co-branded 3-episode podcast series to explain what happened with the Szechuan sauce madness, and it was called The Sauce. But it's really weird to listen to because it's all run through the filter of McDonald's PR. So, yeah, they do admit some mistakes in the podcast of, not being able to supply, but at the same time, they're almost kind of just like, oh, I guess we couldn't help that it was going to be so popular. There's nothing that we could do. It was just such a good promotion. We feel so bad. So it's just weird, but no, I haven't tried it yet. But I've been meaning to try to. Maybe I'll get some nuggets today. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
We don't normally go, but I had to go. This week, and it was probably like the worst McDonald's experience ever. I waited outside of it 20 minutes. They make you pull forward and okay, it'll be done in a couple minutes. Pull forward. I waited like 20 minutes, and then,
oh my god!
And I was like, all I wanted was some nuggets and some sauce here. So they brought it out, and they're like, I'm like, what about the sauce? Like, well. Like, oh, I didn't bring it out. I'm like, well, you need to go back and get it, because I only came here to try this godforsaken Szechuan sauce. And I got it, and honestly, it's soy sauce with honey. Like, that's really, if you like soy sauce, you're gonna love it. It'd be good. It'd be a great salad dressing if I was to be like an Oriental salad kind of thing. So, other than that, don't break the bank getting to your Szechuan sauce.
All right. Does your McDonald's have touchscreens on the inside? Our McDonald's has touchscreens.
It's cool. The interior is actually under renovation here. You can't go inside.
Maybe they're getting them then. I highly recommend it. It's fun using their touchscreen. You can see everything on the menu and just a no pressure sales situation.
Do they deliver with you there? Because the Uber is teamed up with some of them in our
I would think so, because I know there's some sort of partnership with a Taco Bell that delivers. So okay. And there's apps out here called like Postmates where you can just have literally anything delivered. Yeah. They'll go to like Home Depot for you and pick out a radial saw, and you just got to pay them.
You sound like you've done this before. Exactly that scenario. So.
Well, when you need a radio saw, you need it now, especially if you're too drunk to drive,
Exactly. That's when you want to get all the stuff from Home Depot. So, in other news this week, Mike, this might be I doubt this is one of your movies on your on the Marvel movie list, but Fox has announced a Silver Surfer movie is in the works at Fox, written by Brian K. Vaughan of comic book fame. Most recently, The Runaways became a TV show. If you haven't watched, that's really good. And this is, ironically, I guess, or coincidentally, the second movie to be written by a comic book author, announced this month alone.
Mixed feelings. I like Brian K. Vaughan. I haven't read Runaways, but I've read his kind of indie comic series Saga, which is really good, really fun, very cosmic. Very cosmic, so I don't know if that would lend itself to Silver Surfer. You know, depending on how quickly Silver Surfer makes it to Earth, and then it's not cosmic anymore. I'm not sure, but I feel like Silver Surfer is too much of a key cosmic character to kind of be wasted on a Fox universe that's not going to be around for very much longer. Silver Surfer would be a great way to introduce the next big bad in the MCU, Galactus, or a great character for the Guardians to like bump into. Silver Surfer is just so weird and bizarre, and I think he drops so perfectly into the Guardians universe. Like, I don't want him just like wasted in just like a one-off movie. So I guess if this gets Brian K. Vaughan some work, he gets to write a quick screenplay, cash out. But I don't think this movie gets made unless it's under the MCU.
Well, we're gonna talk about this a little later. We got a lot of Fox news actually here in a row. But I think it'd be interesting if you mentioned Brian K. Vaughan. Guardians of the Galaxy is big on music, right? I think the artist, is it Joe Satriani, did an album called "Riding with the Surfer," which has Silver Surfer on the cover, but it's a rock album from like the 70s or 80s. Which, if that's the case, maybe tie that into Guardians if Silver Surfer meets him a little bit. But like, how are you on the album of this cover? And he's like, well, I visited Earth before, kind of thing. I don't know. It's really weird. So, New Mutants news. I know it's got pushed back to next year. But reshoots are adding a new character, and they're going to up the horror factor, apparently, to play into this while they're kind of waiting to release the movie. So we don't know who the character is going to be, but they're adding another character in here.
Yeah, it's weird. How do you add another character to a movie with basically an ensemble cast? Like, I feel like you would have to reshoot the entire film. So maybe this was it
could be a villain.
Maybe. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's got to be something that's detached from the protagonists throughout the movie, because how do you just easily slot something in there? Funny thing is, last time we talked about New Mutants, we thought that they were moving it back a year to just kind of give it some space and let it breathe and release it in a month without a whole lot of competition. But apparently, maybe they're moving it because it needed reshoots and it just wasn't ready yet. So I guess maybe we'll have to revise our opinions on the New Mutants.
I still think it's okay. I think if you just let it sit for 10 months, it won't age, because when you filmed it, it was a whole different world then. I mean, you may have like had different sensibilities about the movie. So if they're at least touching up on it and like making it better over time, I feel more confident than if they just let it sit for a year, because I think that would be worse.
I think this is a stretch, but maybe it could be a little bit of Maisie Williams synergy, because there's no Game of Thrones this year. The last season of Game of Thrones comes out next year along the side of New Mutants. I'm sure that they would love to put Maisie Williams' face all over the poster, maybe even possibly right next to an HBO Game of Thrones billboard poster. So I think maybe that's just unintended kind of like consequences going in their direction.
You've got another thing here. Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Magic, will be in the Mr. Glass movie coming out in that time frame as well.
Maybe.
So, which is the third movie in the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong trilogy there. So, there could be a lot of synergy going on, actually, with a bunch of those actors. And Stranger Things, Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things will be out in that time frame as well. So,
well, Chris, if we say the word synergy one more time, we're gonna have to have like a conference call and call in our assistants, because this seems too corporate.
Well, honestly, it's just our synergy between us, Mike.
Oh my gosh! Oh my God! Buy, sell, stocks.
All right,
bonds.
All right. We talk about Deadpool 2 coming out in May, and we're excited for that. But X-Force, I think, will be Deadpool 3 unofficially, or it'll probably be Deadpool X-Force, Deadpool 3 X-Force. But they are supposed to start shooting this movie in November. They are on a 100 mile per hour track to get this movie done before any Disney deal kind of goes through. Because anything in place, I think before they the deal started, I think is still going to get made. So they're going to shoot in November. Drew Goddard will direct the movie, and he also wrote the script. So I think that's cool. I mean, he's done some good work. I think he worked on Daredevil season 1 a little bit before he left. So. And Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin will star in the film as well, reprising the roles as Deadpool and Cable.
So I have a very important question that I can't believe we have not talked about yet. Is the title for Deadpool 2 the Untitled Deadpool sequel, or is that just they don't know the title of the movie yet?
So I saw a picture of an official standee this week, and it says Deadpool and the number 2.
Okay, well, because I'm really curious, because when I was looking up the Avengers being moved a week back, and I was looking at those movie releases, I was like, oh yeah, Deadpool hasn't been officially titled yet, so I don't know why they're waiting to call it Deadpool 2 if it's official, or because when you say Deadpool X-Force as a subtitle, it's like, oh, we haven't seen subtitles yet, what are they doing with the next Deadpool? Maybe it's 2. I guess we'll have to see what happens. But there's a lot of posturing from Fox right now. They're just trying to be like, hey, guess what? We're still big bad boys before you take us down, Disney. Feels very strange.
Well, it's also, I think Deadpool doesn't lend itself to giving everything away right away either. Like, it's like, well, we will call it whatever we feel like in the moment kind of thing.
I would assume it's a lot of producers and higher ups that feel like their jobs are not very safe. You know, that's what happens when 2 studios merge. A lot of redundancies get cut. So there's probably a lot of heads out there that are like, I need to cash in on this X-Men as much as possible before I don't get any back ends anymore off these movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that as well. But I mean, I know you're really gonna love the next movie we're talking about here, because people are gonna be cashing in on this. Gambit, while it's still looking for a director, the latest draft of the screenplay will be delivered this month in March. So
okay, who cares?
The problem is the movie has been greenlit and already budgeted, so I still think we're gonna see it. I think those are. If it wasn't budgeted, we wouldn't see it, but it's already been budgeted, and I'm like, they got to do it. Like, they got to.
Oh, man.
Someone's gonna pull the trigger, and it's probably gonna be much worse than we ever thought it would be. So
maybe one day we'll see this movie.
I haven't seen Channing Tatum in a minute, so maybe he's down in New Orleans learning his accent and getting to talk.
Yeah, he's getting some vocal lessons, possibly.
It's true. And then lastly, on the Fox front, the Doom movie, Doctor Doom, is from Noah Hawley, who's doing Legion, is still in development. And this kind of ties into the bigger aspect here, we kind of said at the beginning, is that at Fox Studios, it's business as usual, because in case this merger is blocked or doesn't go through, there are no delays or loss of operations and like money in the future. Because anything could go wrong. We want to assume it's a big thing. In our nerd minds, it's like, yes, the characters are coming home, but you know, we don't know we're not privy to the details of all this, or I'm not legally, like, anything I say is not legally binding at all about this deal. So if they stop making movies and stop saying we're producing these, I think they would, like, and it didn't go through, they'd lose all that money, and then just be in a worse scenario and someone could buy them for cheaper next year.
Yeah, well, I guess if for some reason, if these movies just crank out at full speed until the very last second until Disney buys them, at least once all of the Marvel character rights go back to Marvel where they belong and they have them all nice and nestled, they don't have to crank out these movies every like 3 or 4 years to keep the rights to X-Men or these characters anymore. So they can just like be nice and nestled and just stow them for like a rainy day. You know, maybe we'll have all of these X-Men. Yeah, maybe we'll have all these X-Men movies, and we're not going to see another X-Men movie afterwards for like 5 or 6 years because they can wait. I'm curious what's happening with Fantastic Four, because if they say it's a business as usual, I would imagine a Fantastic Four movie is going to need to be in development soon, or they risk losing the rights to Fantastic Four, whether or not that gets sold to Disney or not. So it's going to be a weird scenario if that happens. Like if this deal takes longer to make and it's just like, shit, we got to make a Fantastic Four movie. But as history has shown, Fox knows how to make a Fantastic Four movie and not release it and still keep the rights. So maybe they'll do that again. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't think that was Fox, but I know what you're saying. But I think maybe they could be like, oh, well, the Fantastic Four are in our Silver Surfer movie, or they're in our Doctor Doom movie.
Oh yeah, I guess.
But I think to me, like they have Brian K. Vaughan and Brian Michael Bendis to write these two movies. They supposedly the Kitty Pryde and the Silver Surfer. They're not screenwriters, so I don't think they're getting paid screenwriter money. So I think they're trying to alleviate costs on getting the scripts done while still getting a script done. Be like, hey, just write us up a treatment. Don't make it anything special. Just say you're doing it, kind of thing. Because a script from a comic book writer, I don't think will hold up very well compared to a normal screenwriter. You know what I'm saying? As much as
I mean,
there's some overlap, but I don't think it's par for par.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. There's so many questions when it comes to Fox, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think we've got another year and a half to go. So, knock on wood. Did you know S.H.I.E.L.D. came back this week, Mike? This weekend?
Oh, I saw that. I think Hulu was like reminding me, like, hey, watch this episode.
Well, I was very misled to think that this was the 100th episode of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's next week. So next Friday is the 100th episode, and I think they're gonna not pull out any stops for us, Mike. So I'm gonna have to catch up and see that. But the producers of S.H.I.E.L.D., Jed Whedon and Marissa Tankaron, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, say that the series is preparing for cancellation at the end of season 5. They don't know if they have renewals. That's not for like another month or two. But they're like, if this is the last one, we're going to write a script where this wraps it all up. And we can make tweaks at the last second if we get renewed for season 6. But just in case, we want to have an ending in place and not leave anyone hanging.
Well, that's kind of nice. I feel like if this is their last season, I feel like they're going out on top. It's been a fun ride so far. So if this is it for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm okay with it. And oh man, I'd love to see Coulson come back in the MCU. Just because it'd be weird.
I think they'll just kill him off again in S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, and
stay dead this time.
Yeah, bring him back on another show maybe. Like get one of those Disney streaming services show. Adventures of Coulson. Coulson on Tahiti. That's what we'll do. We'll get him another Tahiti island. So. So that's coming up. S.H.I.E.L.D. It was interesting to watch this weekend. So I'm really excited to see episode 100. Wanna get excited. There's a Cloak and Dagger preview, Mike. I don't know if you've watched this or not, but it was it's like a minute-long preview, but it shows both the Cloak and Dagger characters on the left and right side of the screen while they're like going through essentially the same parts of the city, but in different aspects of life. Like Dagger, she looks like she's street smart and has to steal stuff, and then Cloak is just kind of dealing with some other stuff that he was going through. So I'm interested to see where the show goes. It's looking better with this preview than the one before that was just like a minute or two of the show's clips where we didn't see anything. So this definitely got me a little more hyped for the show coming out in Freeform later this year.
Hyped for Freeform, not something I would expect you to say.
one of my shows I like watching right now called Alone Together is on Freeform every Wednesday.
Well, there you go.
It's just from a couple comedians. The Lonely Island guys are the producers. So
all right.
Actually, it's very interesting. Jessica Jones is next week, Mike. We are here. We are on the precipice of Jessica Jones season 2. Are you excited for this?
It's weird. I'm not exactly hyped because it's kind of hard to put together an exciting Netflix trailer for Jessica Jones just because it's filled with a lot of intrigue and investigation, and you can only show her punching like so many things or kicking down so many doors before you've seen the same shot twice.
A lot of empty bottles.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm excited for it, but I wouldn't say like the hype train is going off the tracks. So Jessica Jones is it's a slow burn type of show. You really got to get into it, watch it all. So I'm definitely gonna binge it. We're gonna talk about it, our initial impressions of the show next week. But we're busy men with busy lives. We will watch all 13 episodes and do a spoiler cast, but it'll just be 1 week later. So it's no official review and spoiler cast for Jessica Jones next week. It'll be the week after. It'll also give all of you out there a chance to sit down and watch it too, because if you got family, if you got kids, you got stuff to do, the weekend's the only time that you can go out and mow your lawn or something, you're not going to be able to binge all of Jessica Jones. So we'll give you a little bit more time, and you can join us on our spoiler cast and a week after the premiere.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I know, again, the thing about Netflix shows that we don't know very much about them, and they keep them that way. I think the last preview for this re-showed footage from season 1 even. So I'm like, they're not really giving us a whole lot on this show. So Really excited to revisit Jessica Jones. It's one of my favorite shows on Netflix so far from that. So really excited to dive that back in. I think my wife is. I think she'll probably watch it all before I do. So really scared to hear if she ruins it or not for me. You ever watch The Rocketeer when you were younger? The movie?
Man, it's been so long since I've seen it, but it seems to be something that nerds really love to obsess about. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's been so long since I've seen it, but it's been so obsessed over. I know exactly what the Rocketeer looks like, the costume from head to toe, the cosplays are really cool at conventions. I know he's got like a rocket pack, which I always love jetpacks. Those things are really cool. Any multiplayer online game I'm ever playing, I'm just like, if there's a jetpack available, I'm slapping it on and flying around like a jackass. So I'm familiar with the Rocketeer, basically.
So interesting point here. The Joe Johnston directed Captain America: The First Avenger, directed the Rocketeer movie back in the 90s. But he's also the creator of Boba Fett for Star Wars. He created the design and look for Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
Where? Yeah, I get what you're going with this. But so there's a little fun thing here. But the Rocketeer is being rebooted as a Disney Junior cartoon, Mike. A 10 to 11 minute episodes, twice a half hour, and we'll have a young girl superhero perspective, which is kind of lines up with the reboot of the movie they were talking about doing. So that they may have. We don't know if the movie's still happening or not, but they're at least moving over to that in the animated series for Disney Junior. So
Disney Junior, that's a step below like Disney XD for age range. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, you start them off on Disney Junior, and then they go to XD.
Yeah, then you get them hooked, and then they're on the MCU. But so yeah, something tells me that we're not going to be watching this show, but it's because it's just not for us. So if you got kids out there, I was just talking about those crazy kids that keep you from binging Jessica Jones. Just throw them in front of Disney Junior.
Give them some headphones, let them watch Rocketeer while you watch your Jessica Jones on your tablet behind them.
And there you go.
Deadpool, the animated series, Mike, not the movie. FX could have an animated preview for the show on March 15th of this year, because that's when FX is doing their upfronts for their advertisers.
That would be good. I mean, you want to capitalize on the popularity of the next movie coming out.
Yep.
So, hey, advertisers, you want to be in front of this Deadpool cartoon because the movie's about to make $1 bajillion, so they're going to be watching our cartoon.
So, also, what's fun about this news is the upfronts are usually not in March, but because of the Disney purchase, FX and FXX will go to Disney as part of the new purchasing transaction. So they're moving it up front to get a lot of advertisers in early so they can show their worth probably later when the Disney transaction goes through.
All right.
I like watching FX and FXX, actually. They have some really good movies and shows I like to watch, so I really hope they don't go away. Did you see Wreck-It Ralph 2? Ralph Breaks the Internet trailer this week, Mike?
Yeah, I saw it. Mixed opinions on it. I love the first Wreck-It Ralph. I get this weird kind of emoji movie vibe at the first half of this trailer because it's just like, I'm seeing like the same like kind of internet jokes I've seen done before, like especially when Ralph is kind of walking through the lobby and people are just like, there's actually like anthropomorphized pop-ups, and it's just like I saw that in like an episode of Futurama like back in the 2000s, so that's not exactly new to me. But then, there is a pretty good bit at the end with that exploding rabbit.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
So
I've got to be honest, I've never seen Wreck-It Ralph 1. I actually own it on digital, but I've never watched it. I just never sat down to do it. It's nothing personal, nothing vendetta. And I was like, okay, I get this. This is like, they're plugging in the internet. They're doing the Tron thing, walking around. Hey, this is what the internet looks like if it was a city. And then they did the rabbit thing, and I laughed out loud. I have to admit, I literally lulled right here, Mike, about the exploding bunny when the girl screamed, and I was like, okay, all right, maybe this could be good. So hopefully we're just seeing a quick intro, and it's like, hey, that's what they do at the beginning, and they get into it a lot quicker than
we've heard from like I think it was D23 last year that there's supposed to be like some Disney princesses that like make a cameo in the movie too. So I feel like this would be Disney doing the Emoji Movie right. I'm not saying the Emoji Movie ever should have been made, but maybe the concept very vaguely wasn't flawed, but maybe making emojis characters and just producing it out of did Sony Animation make the Emoji Movie?
Yeah, Sony did.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Sony animation just does not quite hit the quality that Disney does. So.
If that makes you feel any better, the Razzies announced their winners last night, Mike. The Emoji Movie swept the awards with Worst Picture. It also swept with Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and Worst Screen Combo of any two obnoxious emojis.
Oh my gosh!
So that one just came across and took it out. Worst actor actually went to Tom Cruise for The Mummy, which that movie was pretty rough.
No.
So that anyway, Ralph Breaks the Internet comes out November 21st this year, so that gives us something to do, and before Aquaman, I guess. So
there you go, just in time for Thanksgiving.
I'll need to go watch Wreck-It Ralph. Gonna sit down and do it. I'll do it, Mike.
Good.
Solo, the movie, the Han Solo movie, coming out. The new poster pops up featuring the infamous duo of Han Solo and Chewie. Looks a little blurry, I think. I don't know about the quality. They may have made his face look a little more oriental, if I was going to be completely honest. He just doesn't look like that in real life.
Well, I mean, it is, what is this, Chinese? It's a Japanese poster?
Couldn't tell you, to be honest.
I'm trying to look at the glyphs. It doesn't look Korean. I think
it's JP,
it's China.
Japan. It's Star Wars dash JP down here.
Is it JP? Right. All right. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's a Japanese poster.
Just name
Han Solo and Chewbacca. There you go.
Name a more iconic duo, Mike. I'll wait. Peanut butter and jelly. There we go. We won.
Pretzels and cheese.
Okay, calm down. But also, funny, Donald Glover confirmed that Star Wars has scanned his face and body as an actor, and they now own the scans of him.
Guess what? They're about to put you in a dancing game, Donald Glover. I hope you're okay with it.
They're going to Tarkin him in a couple years and just throw him in a movie. They don't even need you anymore, Donald. Sorry, they scanned you and got you out of there, so...
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if that's cool or interesting. They have them. Video games, I think, are interesting use for these, but we'll see. We'll see if they abuse
they're just gonna put them on a body pillow. That's all they're gonna do.
Oh, I would like one. I will take one. I will take two, please. Men in Black, the reboot or spinoff, is looking to get Chris Hemsworth in the lead role in the film, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. Like, the only thing I really liked about the female Ghostbusters movie was the drink was delicious. Chris Hemsworth was funny in it. Which is actually pretty good. I mean, like, Kristen Wiig, she's we're gonna be talking about her here in a second. But she was she's a comedy powerhouse, and Chris Hemsworth showed his comedy chops in Ragnarok, definitely. So I'd like to see him mess around in a black tux.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see him. And apparently this movie is a global adventure, Mike. So taking Chris Hemsworth along with the three characters are described as a white male, a female of color, and an older man. So this sounds like Men in Black 2 in a nutshell, to be honest. But they're on a global adventure, and seeing Chris Hemsworth kind of maybe be goofy in this and deal with aliens, I'd watch it. I would really like to watch that. So I'm on board. But you mentioned Kristen Wiig. And she apparently is in talks to join a superhero movie of her own, Wonder Woman 2. But she's going to be cast as the role of Cheetah, if you will. Are you familiar with the character Cheetah?
I'm familiar with Cheetah. You're basically looking like, it's almost like a human cheetah hybrid type of deal. But don't think kind of weird chimera of like walking on all fours like Cheetah that can talk. It's just kind of like an upright person that looks like someone threw like a bit of like cheetah DNA at him. So I'm curious how this translates to the screen way more than the fact of who plays Cheetah. I think Kristen Wiig could do it. She's done some dramatic stuff on smaller screens. I think she could pull it off. I think she did a pretty straight role in The Martian, so I think she could tackle the role. I'm just curious, how does Cheetah translate to the big screen? Like, what do you do? Do you put the cheetah markers as like a tattoo, or
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, I think so in the comic books, she's kind of more like a Tomb Raider. The character is, and then come across like a ritual artifact, a sacred artifact, and got the powers of a cheetah, but not like Black Panther. Like, again, she's got the tail, orange skin spots, but looks like a woman. But I think what's interesting here, you mentioned a straight role, a serious role, but Emma Stone was offered this role first and then passed on to go to Kristen Wiig, and I think they're not going to play it up as totally serious. Emma Stone and Kristen Wiig, both great actresses, can do serious stuff, but I think they might take it more of a tongue-in-cheek, kind of a snarky, sassy kind of role rather than a straight role.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, that's what the Patty Jenkins kind of did with the first Wonder Woman. Like, the first Wonder Woman did a very good job dealing with the serious time era of World War I and her just being a badass, but also it kind of had that kind of Marvel-esque humor that we talk about, peppering it in with Chris Pine. So, yeah, I am kind of curious how this works with Kristen Wiig, and I don't know, it just seems there's a whole lot to think about here.
Yeah, there definitely is, and we're gonna have to kind of see what's going on with that. So I don't know. Wonder Woman 2 is in the works. I think we'll probably hear more confirmations sooner than later. The Batgirl movie we talked about last week with Joss Whedon leaving. Apparently DC's cooled on the idea of Batgirl after Whedon's departure, but I think that's the wrong way to go. Honestly, after we got Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman doing so well. These strong female, I mean, even Black Panther, like women were pretty much almost the lead characters in that movie. Don't shy away from Batgirl. Try to maybe just work it better than Joss Whedon. Maybe just find someone else.
Just reboot all of this garbage. It's not good. I don't want to watch it anymore. So, just do Batgirl, but just do it under a better label.
Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna reboot it as much as we want to. They're too invested, but Batgirl doesn't need to tie into anything kind of else though. So I think that's like the beauty of it, kind of thing. Like it could be on its own. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I saw this news this week also about DC films. Apparently, DC is owned by Time Warner and Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure. But AT&T's been trying to buy Time Warner, and they're having some issues with the government to see if it's a monopoly or not. But if the AT&T and Time Warner merger is blocked, apparently the company Time Warner will be broken up and sold separately, which includes the Warner Brothers division, the HBO division, and the Turner division. So we may see Warner Brothers go to just be owned by somebody else. We may see some more direction change later if that happens, or maybe not. I don't know. But I thought it was very interesting to know that they could just Warner Brothers could essentially be owned by another studio if they wanted to. Maybe, maybe even Disney.
I think Warner Brothers is still a powerhouse on its own, whether or not they're making good DC movies. I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers, HBO, or Turner go up for sale. I would think Apple would buy them. Apple wants to jump into content. They're desperately trying to do that. And the best way to do it is just to buy it. So I could see a big company like Apple doing that.
Yeah, I mean that'd be interesting. Or I mean I don't know who else, who another competitor for Disney is.
Well, me and you, we'll just buy it. We'll just pool together some paychecks. We're just gonna buy Warner Brothers.
I'll sell my pops off to fund this Warner Brothers purchase.
You know what that Batgirl movie really needs? Some Jon Snow. So we're just gonna make sure that we unite all of these monikers.
Exactly. Throw Harry Potter in there, and we're sold. We're sold.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
That's right. Constantine, the TV show. Did you ever watch it?
Like one episode.
Okay, so apparently they're taking the animated series with kind of like Vixen got one, and I believe somebody else from the Arrow universe got an animated show. Vixen debuted there, and then I forget who the other one was. But Constantine is getting an animated series from the CW Seed, and will debut on March 24th later this month.
Hey, there you go.
And apparently they're 10-minute episodes instead of the standard 3 to 4-minute ones, like the Vixen ones. So people of Constantine, if you're a big fan, I think Matt Ryan is doing the whole thing, so it's still going to be living on.
That's pretty cool. It's nice to see a Constantine kind of come back. He's an interesting character.
Yeah, he is. The Sandman, have you read the Sandman comic books?
I have heard nonstop about how good it is, how good Neil Gaiman is. I have the first volume on my bookshelf, and I just haven't read it yet, and I feel bad.
Yeah, so Sandman started in the 80s, written by Neil Gaiman, and in like 96 the main one did, and there's been spin-offs and one-shots ever since. Even the show Lucifer on Fox is based on the Sandman character. But he's apparently launching the Sandman universe, which will be 4 new books in the Sandman series post the main series later this year, written by different authors, and maybe he's writing them and drawn by somebody else. I don't know how he's handling it, but he's looking to expand the Sandman universe again 20 years after it ended. So if you're into Sandman, you like it, my friend Patrick listener of the show. He's into it. He was really excited for that. And if you want to start reading those, Mike, now's the chance to do it, to get caught up for that.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, why not? You ever read the Discworld books?
No.
Okay, so Discworld is a series of books written by Terry Pratchett. It's like it pokes fun at mythical, like, Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And there was some movies that came out, and I can't remember what they were called. If I could remember what they were called, that would be great. But Discworld. This is like
the Superhero Slate Book Corner edition.
Yeah,
we're just getting that book news in at the very end.
Yeah, so I believe. Discworld has. I forget how many novels are actually in there. But I'm trying to figure out if I could find where the movies were. Film and television right here, because I watched one recently, and there was a movie called Hogfather. You remember? No, probably not.
This is not ringing a bell.
Color of Magic? No. Okay. Well, this is not going very well at all. But there have been there are dozens of books in this series. There's literally 41 books in this Discworld series. You may remember because it has a world on the back of a floating turtle in space. That's
okay. That image sounds familiar, and BBC knows how to make good stuff, so
they're making a TV series.
Good combo.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's a 6-part series, which I think BBC does well in miniseries, because if it was American and they tried to do 24 episodes on like one book, we'd all just hate ourselves by the end of it. So they're turning Discworld into a 6-part TV series. So some of them, maybe not the whole thing. So check that out. And lastly, I saw this news pop up yesterday. A movie called Past Midnight is being made. Rick Famuyiwa, who was originally signed on for The Flash and left, will direct this vigilante superhero film starring Keanu Reeves and produced by the Russo brothers for Netflix.
Woo! Man, Keanu Reeves and Russo brothers in the same sentence. You don't even have to speak any more words. I am so down for it. I hope it's good. I hope it's awesome. Some of these Netflix original movies that have been dropping I have not enjoyed, so I just hope this is badass, balls to the wall. Keanu Reeves is awesome. So, yeah, I'm down for it.
Yep, I think Netflix is the only bad word in that sentence. Rick Famuyiwa did the movie Dope, and he's done a great thing. So, Netflix, don't fuck it up. That's all we can say. All right, Mike, it's the end of the show here. We made it through our notes. We've got some places to be, so go ahead and tell people where they can find you at so you can get on the road.
All right, well, if people want to follow me, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you could read my webcomic at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you, see what comic book convention that you're at any given weekend, where can they follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, V-A-L-D-A-N. See my Smash Brothers video. That I didn't make the video, but I took the video while we were there. I'll post pictures of stuff like that. You head over to Comic UI, and you can vote on superheroslate.com/vote, or I'm going to post on Comic UI as well. Head over to YouTube, search the DNN, see the videos we do there. Mike, if people are listening for the first time and they want to hear more about what we do, where can they find us at? And vote on those movies this week. Vote, please.
Yes, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host a show, and to look at our awesome show notes for the very episode that you're listening to. So if you want to see that promo piece of all of those soul infinity stones that we were talking about, we got the link up there. You know, if you want to see the poster that we couldn't discern what country it came from when it came to Han Solo, we got the link there too. You can make us look like idiots by knowing it as soon as you see it. But you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week, and you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can get merch for Superhero Slate at superheroslate.com/store. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen to the show. Drop us a comment, drop us a like. We love all of that stuff, and we read it all, and we really love it, and it gets us out of the bed in the morning, guys. We really like you guys. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. So, yeah, we did it. Good job, Chris.
We made it. All right, so next week, don't forget to watch Jessica Jones, and we'll catch you guys then.
Heck yeah. All right, goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
I can't believe I made it anywhere creatively, though, because I was raised by two loving and supportive parents. Nothing squashes it. What? That's not a joke?